Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about the effort of nature-based solution in urban regeneration and measurement. This is Jinfeng from Jiaotong University. This presentation is based on the National Xi'an program of China that I serve as the principal investigator and our collaborative program EU Horizon 2020 Clever Cities. I will give my presentation in 4 sections. The first part is why do we need to evaluate NBS. The second part will give some representative study. It's basically a brief literature review on measuring the effort of NBS. The third part focus on NBS in urban regeneration. The last part, I will give you some Chinese example. The concept of NBS is relatively new. It was first coined in 2002. There are 2 big players and 2 popular definitions of NBS. The effort of NBS is embedded in its definition. According to IUCN, NBS is the action to address societal challenge and should provide human well-being and biodiversity benefit effective and adaptive way. According to European Commission, the other very important promoter and player in NBS-related studies, NBS should provide environmental, social, and economic benefit and also help build resilience, cost-effectively and adaptively, resource-efficient and systematically. In the study of evaluation of NBS effort, there are some very important key aspects we should pay attention to. What to measure or what to quantify, what effort NBS would provide, which field we could develop our indicator, and what method we could employ. For the why question I proposed here is why we should promote NBS as a very important solution and call for application. We need to build evidence. We need to verify its validity. We need to enhance the scientific understanding of its effort. And also we need to inform policy making and plan making and make solid and robust changes. Last but not least, in order to understand the effort of NBS, we need to understand the mechanism that it could play. For instance, heat isolation, shading, increase physical activity, etc. For the second part, I will briefly introduce some representative studies. The first is a European project, Eclipse. It classifies the effort of NBS in economic, environmental, and social category and designed several indicators in each category. For instance, for the economic effort, it includes reduced energy demand, the reduction of stormwater treatment, and the number of jobs created from NBS-related business. For environmental aspect, it proposed some indicators such as carbon storage, heat wave risk, and biodiversity, with the most number of indicators. UbN Lab is another EU program. It proposed indicator categories according to the different challenge NBS could help address. For instance, in climate mitigation and adaptation, it developed several indicators under each challenges to measure the effort of NBS. Carbon storage and temperature reduction could be employed to quantify the effort on climate mitigation and adaptation. Connecting Nature is a very influential EU project. This program proposed 274 indicators to quantify the effort of NBS in more than 10 categories of challenges. For instance, in urban regeneration, it proposed green space accessibility, and in participatory planning and governance, it proposed some indicators such as the openness of the participatory process. There are some qualitative and quantitative indicators. You could find the details online. For the literature on NBS related concept, almost all studies will touch upon the effort of NBS as a starting point or ending point. Maybe the difference just from different perspectives, such as the effectiveness, performance, impact, benefit, contribution, rule, or other terms. And the category proposed could be very different and covering very different aspects of NBS related issues. For instance, the planning and governance aspect, the transferability of NBS, and citizens' involvement. And for some other studies, the effectiveness mainly focuses on the effort NBS could contribute. NBS could be applied to address very different problems at very different scale, and many different types could be employed. Therefore, the effort and measurement should be different and cater to specific objective. For the National Xi'an program of China and Clever City, we both focus on urban regeneration. Therefore, the effort of NBS in urban regeneration should also be specific and focus on what NBS could contribute on urban regeneration. For instance, in shrinking cities, more parks could be developed after demolishing the abandoned property. On the contrary, for cities with rapid population growth and economic development, land availability could be a constraint. Therefore, green roof could be a very important option. For cities have been suffering from urban flood, wetland planning and sponge city could be an effective solution. Here I cite one paper on urban redevelopment. It also mentioned about the different type of NBS technology or solutions. The existing literature promote the advantage of NBS, but we should also be aware that there is downside for each different type of NBS. For instance, the sycamore ball is really a big problem in our campus. In winter and spring especially, many people are allergic to it. The big tree, it definitely offered great shading in summer, but how to mitigate its negative impact is also important. In the last part of my presentation, I will give you some Chinese example on NBS and on the development of evaluation of NBS. I will not go to the detail, but will give you a brief introduction. Since 2015, the central government issued a series of policies to promote ecological progress, including here I cited the measure for evaluation and assessment of the ecological civilization development. And also there are many ministry-level initiatives to promote ecological progress. Among them, the city examination and evaluation initiative have been a very important instrument in the past several years. Both the Ministry of Housing and Urban Rural Development and the Ministry of Natural Resources have been promoting this initiative and this program. The idea is to develop an index system, employ both quantitative and qualitative indicators, and also by doing citizen satisfaction survey to identify the problem for urban regeneration and for periodical review of this urban examination evaluation to monitor the progress and to evaluate the process and achievement by urban regeneration. Here are some pictures about different planning in Xi'an, such as greenway planning and river protection planning and also wind corridor planning. The idea is to develop the wind corridor to mitigate the heat wave in summer. And here is some green roof and also new wetland developed in our new campus. And here is a case also in Xi'an about sponge city development in Xi Xian New Areas. According to the report, this sponge city program helped to enhance the water table and also help to mitigate the risk of urban flood and eliminated water logging point. That's all for my presentation. Thank you.